Greetings, everyone. Today, we'd like to talk about Akkermansia muciniphila, and I want to talk about how I had a 360% increase in this beneficial bacteria by taking Layer Origin's Akkermansia probiotic. If you've been in the gut health space for any length of time, you understand how important Akkermansia is for a wide variety of things. I'm not going to read through all these, but the thing that probably receives the most coverage would be diabetes or a metabolic disorder of some kind. But like many beneficial bacteria, because of their anti-inflammatory activities and other positive things that come out of them, it can affect a wide range of disease systems and show some improvement in all of them. So this is what I was taking, and it has 200 million CFU of Akkermansia in it, along with a smaller amount of 2FL in the standard Layer Origin HMO powder. It has 2 grams or 2,000 milligrams of HMO. But this has a smaller amount and then a little bit of resistant starch as well. And I not only took obviously the 2FL in this probiotic, but also 4 grams daily of the HMO powder, which I've been taking for a long time. I've taken HMO for about 3.5 years and 4 grams per day for at least the last year. This is my history of Akkermansia, which is the bottom in purple. And you can see since August of 2021, essentially undetectable. That's the way it would show up in Ombre. It literally wouldn't show up at all. I also have on here my total bifidobacterium and B. longum just to show sort of relative abundance there and sort of my history. And I've covered this in a prior video, but my bifidobacteria was almost non-existent until I took 7 days worth of a B. infantis probiotic, specifically EVC 001. Finally got some more bifido and B. longum, which I believe was probably the B. infantis. And then I started taking this Akkermansia probiotic, and you see there just a little uptick in the levels. But if I zoom in a different diagram here, you can see a 360% increase. Now I'm only at 0.13%, but according to Tiny Health, this is where this last test was done, my levels are typical, and I'm at the very bottom of the green section. So anywhere between about 0.1 and 3% is what Tiny Health considers to be a good amount. If last time I checked, Biome site has it up to about 5%. I know you want to have some Akkermansia, not too much, and here is why. The goblet cells are the things that produce the mucus layer. Yeah, you've probably heard that the intestinal barrier is only one layer of epithelial cells called colonocytes, and that's accurate. But there's also an important barrier there, the mucus layer. And 2 things can happen to that mucus layer, and it's extremely protective. It's necessary to have good gut integrity. You can either overproduce the mucus, and that can create a whole different set of problems, or you can have not enough mucus, and that leads eventually to a leaky gut. So here's what Akkermansia does. It produces metabolites like propionate and acetate, and those metabolites feed the goblet cells. They consume them for energy, but also stimulate the different ways the mucus production. And then the goblet cells, which I showed you before, are inside. They're a part in between the epithelial cells, part of that gut barrier. The goblet cells produce mucus. The mucus layer protects then the gut lining, and then the Akkermansia feeds on that mucus layer. So there's this wonderful intestinal barrier symbiosis where the Akkermansia is sort of producing its own food by producing the mucus, but also at the same time consumes the mucus to keep it at inappropriate thickness. which is why you want to have some Akkermansia, but you don't want to have too much. There was several years ago, my wife was up to almost 20%. Now, we didn't notice any symptoms per se, but most people agree that was too high. She's since come back to normal levels. But like I said, I have always had great difficulty growing any Akkermansia on my own. When I first started taking HMO, I also took the apple peel powder from Layer Origin. Unfortunately, that didn't show any difference at all. So thankfully, this is the first time that I have seen some measurable, decent levels of Akkermansia in my gut. And I did that through Layer Origin's Akkermansia probiotic. Quite a huge increase, and I'll be very curious in future tests to see if that has maintained at any level. So thanks for listening.